Good afternoon and welcome to our National Careers Week broadcast. This week is an exciting time for people to explore the many career options available and even discover new and exciting career choices. It's also a great time to ask questions, get advice and find out what type of career best suits you. The National Careers Service Careers Advisors are such a valuable resource for anyone looking to explore new options. They can really help you identify your personal strengths. We recently spent the time with Liz, a careers advisor for the National Careers Service in the northwest of England, to see what she gets up to on a typical day. Let's take a look.
Liz, I'm a careers advisor. I work for the National Careers Service, and this is what I like to do on my day off, take some time into the countryside. So this is one of my favourite places to come to when I've got some time off. I'll show you why. I really like coming out here to Alderley Edge because it kind of reminds me of home. I'm from the Lake District originally, and seeing the hills and the views is just amazing. So this is where I am on my day off. But when I'm working, I can be anywhere in Greater Manchester. I've got a great view of it from here. So today, I'm heading over to the airport, which is just over that way. Of different partners in the Greater Manchester area, and today I'm working with the Airport Academy, so I'm just heading there now across the Sky Bridge in a bit. When I'm here, I generally come and support people with mock interviews because it really prepares them for when they're having job interviews. So what I'd do is I would give them a mock interview. I would be in role and pretend that I was working for an airline. So they would have a practice interview, and then after that I'd come out of role and then give them some feedback as to how they can improve their interview. I'd used information on the National Careers Service website for interview tips, and generally they found it really useful. And the last time I was here, that was just really amazing. It's one of the reasons what I'm in the job for, when I see making a difference with people. There was this lady, and I really thought she'd be great for the customer helper job. And, well, she was just really lacking in confidence. So we spoke about her recent experience. She felt that she was a bit embarrassed, really, because she'd spent the last 6 years looking after a mum and looking after her kids through lockdown, through homeschooling. But when we unpicked some of the things that she'd done and the skills that she'd picked up during this time, she actually realised, well, actually, no, that's really relevant to the job that I'm going for. And do you know what? When we'd finished, she almost skipped out of the room. And that really, that was great. That just made my day. So here's where I work maybe once or twice a month and help people to prepare for interviews for jobs, for actual jobs. And that's really good because I know that there's something for them to really aim for at the end of it, and I'm preparing them for something. I work in a variety of other places too. So if you ring the 0800 100 900 number, then you'll get through to the call centre. They'll work out where it's best for you to see a careers advisor. So it might be me, or it might be one of my other colleagues who are all really well trained as careers advisors. So you might, we work everywhere. You find us in libraries, information centres, colleges, job centres, wherever there's a need basically, and also at job fairs too. So So wherever you are in your career journey, National Careers Service can support you to help you to think about what careers suit you, maybe help you with your interview skills, getting your CV brushed up. All of these things we can help. So you can contact us through ringing the 0800 100 900 number, or there's our web chat service, or even if you just want to have a browse on our website, there's loads of stuff on there. It's really good content on that website.
Hello everyone, my name is Monique Smith and I am an area manager working on the National Career Service. I'm based in Gloucestershire, specifically Stroud, and I've been kind of working in careers guidance for around 20 years. I started off as a learning development officer and worked my way up to manager. I've worked on specifically the National Career Service since it started quite a few years ago, and I've really enjoyed the role. I've progressed, which has been great. So I started off as a careers advisor, where I'd be based in various locations around the city in Gloucestershire, including job centres and colleges, and I would deliver advice and guidance, to people that want to progress. So they might have referred themselves or been referred by partners that we work with. So what I would do in a session, I would talk to the person, see where they're at, and then they might have specific needs, and then I would try and coach them through those. I'm qualified careers guide. I've done a couple of MBQs and the level 6 and careers guidance to, make sure that I have the skills and knowledge and ability to support someone. So some specific activities that I would do is mock interviews, giving people pointers on how to come across really well in an interview. I would also help people to create a CV, also guide people looking at their skills and what skills they can use in other roles, because they might want a career change and they might be, concerned or confused at what they can do. They might think, oh, actually, I can't do anything else, but that's never the case. The challenges that I face, I would say, is that sometimes, you feel like you're not helping that person, even though you've given them all of your expertise. But, sometimes you can feel like, oh, have I really supported that person enough? But I guess, sometimes that comes to like your own confidence and your own ability. And I have struggled with that sometimes. In the area that I live, the demand is really high. So it's kind of managing, seeing people and trying to see them and meet their needs. One of the questions that we get asked a lot is, I haven't had a CV for ages. What should I put on a CV? So I would say that's one of our number one kind of requests from people that want to engage with us in our service. I guess, some hints and tips I would give in that regard is to, make sure it's clear, concise, kind of well written. Doesn't have to be very long, 2 pages maximum. Have a clear profile, some key skills related to the job you want to apply for, and then make sure your work history's in the most recent job you've had. And if you haven't had any work, then you can do like a skills-based CV, which is a little bit different. But if you need any help with that, you can contact National Career Service and we can support you with putting that together. Recommendations I would kind of make for people wanting to take the next steps if they're not sure about what they want to do. First of all, contact National Career Service. But before that, I would have a little kind of think about what you enjoy doing, what you don't like doing, and in terms of work, and kind of start putting a list of things together so that when you do maybe get some advice from us, that you have sort of a starting point. Getting your CV up together is always good, so you can see like what you've done. Thinking about, what kind of areas of work you want to work into, and maybe thinking about maybe you want to do some training. So yeah, definitely first step is to kind of have that conversation with yourself and getting your CV ready at the start. So if you're ready to apply for jobs, or, that might be good. Also, I think there's one client that sticks in my mind quite a lot, and there's a lady that came to me who was a mature woman and really wanted to have a career change quite late in life. Well, people would consider it late in life. And she just wasn't sure that she could even do it at her age. And I just said to her, you know why don't you just give it a go? He said, you've got another 10 years of working life. The course you want to do is going to take you 2-3 years. You'll still can work for a good 7 years, which is quite a good time to work. So in the end, this woman became a qualified nurse, and she'd always wanted to do it all her life, and she was in her mid to late 50s, and I said to her, go for it, and she did, and she's, you know, been working as a nurse for the last sort of 10 years, and she's still going. So one of my recommendations would be to say it's never too late, and, you know, you can always progress in ways that you want to. You know, I would, and I'm here to help anyone that wants to gain some support. So I think it's really important that we have careers advisors, and even I have gone to careers advisors before I became one, and even now sometimes I, you know, will talk to a careers advisor to get a different perspective. So yes, that's me. So if in doubt, just give the National Careers Service a call, 0800 100 900, and try and get some advice. Or look at our website, National Careers Service, and just do a Google search and you'll find us there. And thank you very much.
Now, have you ever considered turning your passion into a career? It can be a great way to make a living and do something you really love. The National Careers Service can provide guidance and support whatever your career aspirations are.
Today speaking to Khalid about what it takes to become a zookeeper. So Khalid, how did you become a zookeeper?
So I became a zookeeper quite young. I was 16, just finished my GCSEs, and that was back in 1997/1998. So it was quite some time ago. So I became a zookeeper after volunteering, which we don't do now, unfortunately. But I used to volunteer on the weekends. I finished school, finished my GCSE, and I was taken on as a summer seasonal keeper after that, and then I became the zoo's second ever apprentice trainee zookeeper.
So apprenticeships but not volunteering, how come?
So we do a trainee apprentice scheme still within zoos today, and that's really a very good way of being able to get into a zoo environment. It's hands-on, you're learning the skills that are required to be a zookeeper, and you're also finding out whether or not that's the career path that you want to go down. We don't do volunteering anymore, unlike when I started quite some time ago. And the main reason for this is because it's actually a professional career working with dangerous wild animals. You need to be of a certain skill set, and you need to have the adequate qualifications with the adequate training, but also for the fact that health and safety is something now more of a thing than it used to be. To volunteer in a place with dangerous wild animals is a no-go these days, for that very reason. But it also means that you have people that are trained, skilled zoo professionals working in industry that is very much a career, and that's the reason why we have a trainee apprentice, like with a lot of jobs now, if you're pursuing it as a career, and not a volunteer basis. And also some zoos, of course, like ourselves, we're not a charity, we're a commercial company, which is very different to a charity-based zoo or animal park. You know, the volunteers are something that maybe some animal industries require the help of, but certainly most zoos now, modern day zoos, are required zoological professionals to work within that field that are experienced, qualified and trained.
So if I wanted to become a zookeeper, how would I go about it?
So if you were thinking of being a zookeeper as your career, if that was the kind of job and the type of work that you were thinking of getting into, you have to have a realistic understanding of what the job entails. Most people now that approach the industry are usually doing an animal-based course of some description at university or college, and during that period they'll have to do a number of hours work experience. So here at this zoo and at a lot of other zoos, that we do take on students to do periods of work placements. and that gives them a good taste of what is actually entailed within the zoo, but it also covers them from a health and safety point of view through the relevant channels of the college and university, and we are taking on people that generally want to do this as a career, so they have a genuine interest as well, but that allows them to understand what it entails. They're not going to be working with obviously the big cats or elephants or anything that's dangerous, but they're in the zoo, they'll be working maybe in the children's farm or sort of animals which aren't quite as dangerous under the supervision of the zookeepers. But it also means that they have a realistic understanding of the job. People have a romantic feeling of working with the zoos. Oh, it must be wonderful, which it is, but you have to be realistic. You're out in all weather, it's a very long day, 365 days a year. We're operational at Christmas time, Christmas Day, we're here. Christmas Day, we're working, and we alternate who works Christmas. Not all day, but for the majority of the day we have to feed the animals, we have to clean the animals. Physically and mentally it's challenging. It's not just picking up poo and cleaning up after the animals. There's a lot more scientific based work around it as well. In terms of behavioural observations, training, as you can see here with the sea lions, we do a lot of training with our animals, not just for the public in terms of demonstrations, but to be able to look after them properly. So it allows us to work around them in a way where we haven't got to restrain them or sedate them, which allows the animals to hopefully be comfortable in their surroundings that we provide for them. So it's not as romantic and it's not as fun as people think. It's hard work, and like I say, the weather can be challenging as well, from real cold, icy weather or the wind and the rain, and then you've got the other extreme where it can be very, very warm and sunny, which is quite a challenge for some people as well.
So what qualifications would you need to become a zookeeper?
So a lot of zoos these days require some form of a degree, but the apprentice traineeship allows, the industry has its own set of qualifications, which is the National Diploma in Zookeeping, which is the trainee apprentice, which is the basic requirement that most zoos will ask for, alongside practically based skills. So the apprentice is really the best option because they're doing the qualification as well as getting the experience, and then hopefully they'll get the relevant reference from that zoo if they wanted to pursue it in another zoo or travel to different places.
So behind us there's been a sea lion show going on. How long would you have to work in the zoo before you can go about and do these things by yourself?
There isn't really a time frame. I mean, really, you should be working in a zoo at least 3 to 4 years before you're working with any sort of high-profile animal, or certainly your dangerous wild animals like your big cats, your elephants, your sea lions, which are potentially dangerous. And even if you've been working in the zoo 5 or 6 years, you might not necessarily be a sea lion trainer. It might not be for you. You could still be a very good bird keeper or hoof stock keeper. It's not to everyone's taking. There isn't one shoe fits all. There's so many species within a zoo that not everyone is an elephant keeper, not everyone is a category 1 animal keeper working with big cats. But does that mean that they shouldn't be able to work with exotic animals within a zoo? No, it just means that might not be for them.
So if I was 15, 16 and I wanted to become a zookeeper, you said about the volunteering not being a thing anymore, but is there anything I could then do to give myself a better chance at becoming a zookeeper in the future?
Put your feelers out, do your research, find where you can do animal related courses, where you can do animal related training and skill sets, because it will all attribute to experience. Once you're doing an animal course or an animal related qualification within a college or a university, as part of that course they will put you out to various zoos or animal parks to gain work experience through the correct channels, so you're covered through insurance and health and safety. That will give you an opportunity then when you're at those parks doing that experience to prove to the park that you're interested. Have a good work ethic, have a good attitude to the job, be willing to learn, be humble, so take constructive criticism. You should be willing to always be open to learning by anyone that's got experience, and put yourself out. That's my best advice. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for speaking to us today.
Pleasure. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So what do you love about hospitality and bartending?
It's the people for me. I love meeting new people. I love hearing new stories. And I think it helped me grow as a person to be able to be more talkative and be more confident in talking to people, because I actually used to be a lot more shy.
A lot of people will assume that working in hospitality there is not much of a career available. However, there's loads of opportunity to build yourself a career and work your way up the ladder.
And I think people forget about hospitality, that the number of roles that are available. And as we've been doing the tours today, we've been able to look around the laundry, the admin, the maintenance. There's so much more out there.
The National Careers Service can support people of all ages. It might be that you were just looking to update your CV, or perhaps you're considering a complete career change. Let's hear how the National Careers Service is supporting the over 50s.
The National Careers Service provides high-quality, free and impartial information, advice and guidance to help citizens make decisions on learning, training and work. It is available to all adults in England over the age of 13. Our universal service is primarily for citizens who need somewhere to go that can provide comprehensive careers information, advice or guidance for themselves. Additional users of our service are people who use it to support others. This includes professional careers advisors and intermediaries such as employers, teachers and parents. Our service is designed to enable users to self-serve as much as possible. However, some of our users need more intensive support. For self-service, our intuitive digital tools and smart use of data enable them to get a personalised service. Professional careers advisors will help provide users with additional advice and guidance specific to their personal circumstances. If you want any more information about the National Careers Service, please get in touch.
This week, November 21st to the 25th, is National Older Workers Week, highlighting the importance and benefits of age diversity in the workplace. Not only is it vital employers are age gap inclusive when it comes to recruitment, but it's just as important to support older workers already employed. Today, we're speaking with Nikki Reynolds from the National Careers Service to hear more about the wonderful workshops she runs for the over 50s. Thank you so much for joining us today, Nikki.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
It's all right. So firstly, could you just start off and tell us more about your role as a careers advisor for the National Careers Service?
Yes, of course. So the National Careers Service provides free impartial careers advice for anyone over 18, but people who are over 50 and seeking work are a key priority for us. And we help people to find vacancies, to improve their CVs and applications. We also help people prepare for interviews and find training if they need to upskill or are looking at a career change. And we also do skills assessments to help kind of identify those skills. And we do that through one-to-one face-to-face appointments or appointments over the phone. We also run workshops and we attend events like job fairs as well.
Wonderful. So today we're shining a light on National Older Workers Week, as you know. So what advice would you have for those over a certain age just that are looking for a career change or potentially to get back into work?
My piece of advice would just be to really stay positive and be proactive and recognize your value. It's also really important to keep up to date with your skill set and learn new skills. So that's something that we can help with. And find ways to really showcase all of that really valuable life experience that you have on your applications. You have a huge amount of life experience and work experience to draw from. And so we just want to make sure that you're shouting about that. And really think about what you're looking for from work now. Are you looking for part-time work? Maybe something more flexible, maybe something with less responsibility, or a role where you can coach and mentor others and kind of pass on your experience.
That sounds wonderful. So you were talking about kind of helping people finding their skills in the beginning there. Like, could you tell me a bit more, like, kind of what that entails? Like, what would you do?
Of course. So we have something called a skills health check on our National Career Service website, which is a really useful tool for kind of identifying your strengths, your weaknesses, sectors that you might be really suited to based on your experience, your motivations and your interests. So we would sit with somebody and talk through their previous life experiences, their work experiences, things that they enjoyed, things that they felt they were really strong at, and what kinds of things they're looking for now. And we'd kind of explore different types of job roles that might be interesting to them and use that skills assessment to explore job profiles on our website.
Wonderful. And talking about anyone that's looking for a career change, what are some of the resources that you'd recommend?
Of course. So, well, first of all, I'd recommend our National Career Service website. As I said, we've got all sorts of job profiles on there, the skills assessment, but there are also lots of guides to help you find work, guides on how to write a CV, a cover letter, how to prepare for interviews, how to do a job application, how to search for vacancies. So I would recommend using that. There is also a website called No Desire to Retire. And they have a huge amount of resources on there, lots of articles, blog posts, CV templates to help you. And there's also a function on there where you can upload your CV, and they work specifically with employers who are seeking people with more experience. They also have ways that you can improve your IT skills, which sometimes is a barrier or a perceived barrier for people who are older looking for work. Age UK is another really fantastic resource. They have, again, lots and lots of advice on seeking work when you are more experienced. And then I might recommend something like Alison or Vision to Learn. They're really, really good websites that offer all sorts of free training that you can use to upskill if you have gaps in your skill set.
That sounds wonderful. Sound like really, really useful resources and websites that people can go to, because a lot of things may have changed since someone was first stepping onto the job market, say 20, 25 years ago, to where they are now. Yes. in terms of like CVs and all things like that.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I mentioned it briefly at the beginning, but I understand you run weekly workshops for people over 50. Could you just talk me through that, please?
Yeah, of course. So the workshops really are about building people's confidence and breaking down some of those perceived barriers. So we focus on things like employability skills, so how to write an up-to-date, really strong CV that you can tailor to a specific job. We talk about preparing for interviews, the kind of questions that employers are asking now at interview. We look at the labour market, the kind of transferable skills that employers are most often seeking, and how to identify those transferable skills in your previous employment and showcase them on your applications. And we also talk about widening your job search. So using things like social media, LinkedIn, those kinds of things to job search, because they are much more used these days by employers, and sometimes people find that they're not that comfortable with using social media these days. So we do a bit on that, and we identify any training needs that you might have and signpost to good providers that can help you kind of fill those gaps.
Wonderful. What would you say are the benefits to these workshops for the participants that come in?
The feedback that we've had is that people just feel much more confident and motivated to move forward, and they have a clearer idea of some really simple next steps that they can take, ways to break down what can sometimes feel quite overwhelming when you're re-entering the job market, particularly after a long break in your career, or if you're looking for a change. Sometimes confidence can be low, and that kind of huge amount of information is kind of difficult to digest. So I think people find it really helpful in breaking that down into manageable steps and having somebody on hand that can kind of hold their hand through the process a little bit.
Absolutely. Have you had quite a big uptake in this? How long has it been running for?
Yeah, we've been running the workshops weekly since around end of August, September, and we do have a really good level of attendance and really good engagement with all of our customers. So yeah, it seems to be really benefiting a lot of people.
Wonderful. That's really great to hear. So what would you say to employers when it comes to age diversity? Because I know a lot of employers may be a bit more hesitant to employ someone that's above the age of 50. Like, what would you say to them?
I guess I would say that you really can't emphasize enough how important diversity is in a workplace. The more diverse your workforce, the more life experiences and skill set that you have to draw from. And from my own experience, the colleagues that I've worked with who have more experience and are older have been the people that have really influenced me the most and been able to impart knowledge and improve my performance and mentor and coach me. So I think they have a huge amount of value to give, and it's really important that we recognise that.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Nikki, for taking the time to join us today. It's been absolutely great to hear about the support on offer at the National Careers Service and the wonderful work being done. So thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, if you just joined us. Nathan here. We are live in Bristol. And I'm joined now with our first set of guests. I've got lovely Vivian Greenwood, who is a careers advisor for the National Careers Service. Hiya.
Hello, Nathan.
Great to have you here today. Thank you for joining us. And also Martin Clark, who's a customer of the National Careers Service. Martin, great having you here on the sofa as well.
Hi, Nathan.
So, a couple of questions. Let's start off with you, Viv, then. First of all, tell us about your role in the National Careers Service. What do you do?
It's supporting adults back into training, employment. So we deal with people from all walks of life, all ages, all abilities and disabilities. And we give them a holistic approach to, their current situation. We'll look at, their likes, their dislikes, their background, what the skills are, and help them make suggestions as to what career choices might suit their present circumstances.
And we're obviously going to learn a lot about the National Careers Service today. What does a typical day look like for you?
At the moment, I personally work out of the contact centre, so we'll take a mixture of phone calls direct from the public and also web chat, where people might type in on the web chat channel for some basic advice, and emails that come through, asking for appointments or, again, some basic advice or assistance related to employment or education. So it's quite varied. And then in the afternoons, usually, I have some set appointments, where I'll call the customer and deal with their individual needs.
And I guess things have moved on quite a lot, but over the years, it's nice that it's varied ways for people to get in touch with you. I guess people might feel a bit more confident reaching out via email or web chat.
That's right. Things. Yes. Plus, it makes it, because it's open till 8 o'clock at night and on Saturdays, so it can capture all the people who, might also be working, because we also help people who are working. You don't have to be unemployed to get, support from the National Careers Service. We also help people employed who perhaps for health reasons need to make a change, or they want to talk about career progression.
And I guess really fitting in with people's lifestyles as well, isn't it? People might have children or different commitments with maybe caring for people as well, so it isn't 9 till 5.
That's right.
And what would you say you enjoy most about your job? What gets you up in the morning? What helped you thrive in your role?
I think the satisfaction of seeing people's lives change, but you'll probably hear more about that from Martin.
Excellent segue. I feel like you're a natural. So Martin, thank you again so much for joining us today. Would you just begin by telling our viewers kind of your background and why you decided to reach out for support?
Well, my background, basically I've been self-employed probably for the last 30 years or more, and my sort of interests were sort of land management, woodland, working with sort of wildlife to a point. But the problem being is when COVID came, my way of life sort of got put on hold, and I thought to myself, I need to find something with a regular income. So my partner suggested the career services, and we were able to get hold of Viv, and I explained my situation. Up until that point I had no CVs, I hadn't had any interviews, I'd always worked for myself, and basically I put all this to her, and she was absolutely brilliant. She sort of went through my past work. We analysed all of that, and between all the different jobs created a CV. Within no time she was very, very good, because I didn't have the skills of the internet as such, because I lived in quite a remote area. We were able to send off CVs to various jobs that would suit, and within no time I think I had the chance or the choice of 3 different jobs, one of which I took up, working for a group called Milestone Infrastructure. So basically, road maintenance, that type of work. Now I've got a steady income, I've got security, I've got a future possibly, to look forward to. And on top of that, I'm still in my area. So, I'm very, very grateful.
And Vivian's been your careers advisor along the way. How's it been working with her and the support you've received?
Well, it's absolutely been brilliant, because I can contact her. She's obviously aware of me as a customer now. If I have got any issues I'm unsure about, or possibly even changing my job in the future, I know I can fall back and we can sort of look at other options. But yeah, absolutely brilliant. Fantastic.
And for people at home, I'm sure they're dying to know kind of what your role is now. What's the future looking like for you? Feeling more confident about things?
Yeah, definitely feeling more confident. I've got that wage coming in every month, which I didn't have before. Obviously, being self-employed, you were chasing up bills sometimes, and it was from day to day, whereas now that income's there. I'm sort of in my early 60s, to be able to go into a full-time career, generally, it's very, very difficult, but the help and advice obviously paid off, and yeah, very, very grateful.
That's fantastic. And Vivian, what's it like hearing that from Martin?
It's really good, but Martin's selling himself short, because the company that he stayed with are also putting him through his HGV training as well.
Yeah, I've had various training skills. I've been sort of done my what they call street works, which is quite an intense course. They've put me through that. Various tools that I use now, various skills, again courses which have been passed, and equally they're putting me through my HGV too, so that's another positive point.
Amazing. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your experience today on our broadcast for National Careers Service. Absolute pleasure. And I guess, what would your advice be for people watching at home today who might be unsure? Shall I reach out? Is this for me?
Definitely reach out, because
we all need to take stock from time to time. It can be really helpful to ask ourselves, what do I want from life as I get older? Looking at your money, job and health together can mean you stay healthy, get the most from work, and save to get the retirement you want. It makes sense to have control of your future, and having a midlife MOT is a good place to start.
Planning to have enough money to live on in later life really matters. It's the best way to make sure that the retirement you get is the retirement you want. If you're working, then you're probably saving into a workplace pension, which is a great way to start. But you should also get to know your state pension by finding out how much you could get and when. We can also help you work out how much you need for retirement and plan how to get you there. You can also get one-to-one advice from PensionWise to help you make sense of your options and to avoid scammers.
Whether you want to stay in the same job or make a change, you have options to help you work differently in your later life. You've gained skills and experience throughout your working life, which makes you extremely valuable to employers, and this can help open the door to many other roles. You may want to work part-time as you get older, or do something less stressful or demanding. Perhaps you have caring responsibilities and need some flexibility. Most employers can offer support, and you have a legal right to ask for flexible working too. And of course, staying in work means you keep earning and saving for your retirement, and it also contributes to your health and well-being. Contact the National Careers Service and you can get one-to-one impartial information and guidance from a professional careers advisor.
We all want to maintain good health, so it's important to take stock of everyday behaviours, especially as we get older. Our online health checks are quick, easy to use and provide advice and support to help you make small changes, whether that's being more healthy in your eating, being more active or quitting smoking. You'll get simple tips and free tools that can help you improve your health and make you feel better and may even lower your risk of serious illness in the future, such as heart disease and some cancers. In the health section of the Midlife MOT, we also offer information on support for carers.
Planning now and making positive choices can help you get the retirement that you want.
By using the links on the online MOT, you'll get access to free, professional and independent help from people like us.
Take charge of your future by starting your Midlife MOT today.
Brilliant stuff. And if you would like to catch up on anything you have seen today, then remember you can rewatch all our content on the National Careers Service Facebook page. Thank you so much for joining us today here on Chaos TV to celebrate National Careers Week. Have a great week and I'll see you soon.